A big thanks and hello to Simon Whitaker, founder and CEO of Master Debonair, a multi-award-winning menswear brand that has brought a fresh approach to the menswear sector. The Master Debonair story began in November 2015 when Simon sadly had his father pass away very suddenly. Simon's father, Bob, was an extremely popular, dapper chap, and Simon understandably wanted to look his absolute best for the funeral. But after walking around Newcastle for hours searching for a beautiful tie clip and pocket square, Simon left disappointed. This highlighted a gap in the local market for Simon and his wife Eve. They thought of a name, and Master Debonair was born with a few accessories, a Facebook page, and a couple of mood boards. Since that day, Master Debonair has never looked back. From humble beginnings to winning multiple awards, including Best Independent Menswear Retailer at the Drapers Independent Awards. Master Debonair has built a strong reputation and trust amongst customers across the UK and beyond. The brand prides itself on delivering excellent customer service, both in-store and online, and strives to deliver only the best from campaign to customer care. So, Si, well done. You must be so proud of what you've achieved. I mean, quite a ride, you know, and to come in just 5 years to build that brand that you've done so far is brilliant. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about how it all started?
Yeah, I think you summed it up really well there. Like you said, my dad passed away in November 2015 suddenly, and it was literally, you know, for his funeral, I really wanted to wear something a little bit different. He always dressed really well. Always wore his suit, even when he was going to the office on a weekend. So I was looking for something a little bit different, like a tie clip, lapel pin, pocket square, and just couldn't find anything that was a little bit different. And I'd been kind of, I come away from his funeral a little bit sort of disappointed with the things that I'd bought. They were okay, but didn't think it kind of did him justice. And I'd been looking at business ideas for a long time. I mean, obviously, myself and you used to work together, so you know, I got a real good understanding about sort of businesses within my time working in digital marketing as well. And I always wanted to do something, and I felt as though, and I always remember sort of, you know, thinking about things that where I thought there was a gap in the market, and that's how I was really born. I came away from his funeral and kind of thought, right, okay, let's have a little look to see if I can source something a little bit different. So straight onto AliExpress. Didn't know where else to look, but I've always been fairly resourceful. You know, if there's not something out there that's easy to find, I'll go and find it. Okay. And there was just these amazing, like, different colourful things, lapel pins, tie clips, pocket squares, and everything else. And just bought a few, but also set up social media. I knew was going to be really important to play a part in this. So we set up a Facebook page pretty much early on. I think it was December. Actually, I was looking at the first post, which was actually an image of Daniel Craig. You might have saw that the other day. And really just like posting some kind of different things that we liked in terms of styles. Going through Pinterest, that kind of thing, Google, and it was a style that I kind of, you know, even going back to sort of the 10 years before we set this up, you know, it was really developing that style along the way. And that was it, really. It was kind of, I found the base product, and then I was like, right, okay, we'll build a website. So again, no idea. I'd worked for digital marketing agencies, but that was in sales. It certainly wasn't development or anything like that. And then built the website, and then it kind of snowballed. You know, I go back to what an old colleague said about, you know, it doesn't really work when you launch a business with a couple of products. And I knew I needed a full product range. So found out there was a menswear trade show in Birmingham at the time, and that came up, I think, around about the January 2016, and we went to visit there and found suppliers for suits, shoes, and shirts, and kind of thought, right, okay, I need to borrow some money because I haven't got any money. Went to NatWest with a business plan, quite a comprehensive business plan. I was used to putting sales budgets together for sort of £15 million, and so really breaking it down on how many pairs of shoes I would sell and how many tie clips, and I think that kind of convinced the guys at NatWest to lend me £25,000, and I went and bought a load of stock. And ended up building the site and launching the end of February 2016, and straight away started to see sales coming in. But we'd built up a real social following. So I think by the time we'd launched, we had something like 5. We didn't really use Instagram at the time. I'd never really used Instagram. It was all really Facebook. Had about 5,000 followers by then, but ran a load of competitions that really worked. The big giveaway was the kind of shoes with the purple soles. And then the rest is history, really.
Fantastic. And in those 5 years since sort of Fed 2016, how's it developed? Was there like a point in time where it really took off, or has it been quite level, the development? Or
it's kind of, it has. It was a constant, that, to be honest. I thought that the whole point as well, really, was looking at setting up the business was, obviously I'd lost my dad. We kind of had a history of heart disease in our family. I think quite fortunate for myself. I think I take after my mother's side on that side. With regular checks and everything else that goes with it. But I kind of really wanted to slow down a bit. I'd worked in sales and marketing for 15 years. I was sales director at quite a large European organization before we set this up, and I just kind of wanted to take the pressure off. And I always wanted to kind of sit around in a shop. I always wanted to shop. I kind of just this idea of having a shop and sitting around and drinking coffee all day and reading the newspaper. And it never happened like that. It literally within a month of kind of launching online and then opening the shop in March, April 2016, it just went nuts. So I had to come into it full time, and I never managed to get my feet up yet. And those, plenty of coffee, but the newspaper and everything. So it was, I think with social media, there was a real focus on it kind of being a destination store as well. And we because of the power of social media, it's not just local. We were seeing people travel anywhere from Scotland, Brighton, all over the country, to be honest. It was, and it's been like this from day one.
Brilliant. And you've been quite clear in sort of communication online and so forth around the importance and the value that you see in the shops. You mentioned the shops there, in a sort of pure play or growth in pure play, digital only businesses. There's been a lot in the press this year with, ASOS and Boohoo particularly expanding their businesses and so forth. But I believe you have a true belief in the sort of brand experience and that being delivered through the shops as well. Do you want to talk a bit through the journey? Because I know you've invested a lot in your shops. Great background you've got there as well.
We've done a lot during COVID. This didn't exist a year ago. We had we've obviously had to go through a lot of cost cutting in the last 12 months. So we moved out of our office, and this is now our private showroom that our customers come into. So the wedding parties, the one-to-one personal styling, which we launched, and custom tailored suits. But the experience from day one has been like that. That has been one of the key focuses, and it was kind of a lot of things that I picked up along the way in my career. I'll never forget one of the guys who I know who was a customer, and he was working for Apple at the time, and I remember him saying that Apple just don't sell anything in store, and that was a bit like, in terms of selling anything, it's advising. So you come in store and they advise you. You go into an Apple store, you kind of know you're going to buy something or you're going to sit around. And I'd kind of taken a little bit of that philosophy as well. And during my sales career, I was never sales trained. I had a little bit of sales training at the end of my career, but I never sold anything. It was always problem solving. And that's what we did at Master Debonair, and I took a bit of that, and I wanted that here. It was all about, when myself and Eve were looking at the business and setting it up, was it was all about coming to our home. That's why it kind of sat in these surroundings. You know, and our home looks pretty much the same as this. I think we've used a job lot of paint by the looks of it. But it's coming to our home. You know, sit around. We've got charging points in the stores. We've really took some time to not just flood the shop floor with product. You know, people come into our stores and can spend 2 or 3 hours, and that's fine.
Fantastic.
And it really is about that whole experience. We've now got the hidden beer tap in the Bolton store. We've got private showrooms in both of our shops, and that's strategy going forward. That's why we moved out of our original Chesterfield store into a new one. So again, it feels when people come in, because not everybody's confident when they come shopping, and it's not like going into a multiple retail store when you come in here. It's dead relaxed. The staff are phenomenal. I mean, the guys have done a grand job here, but that's taken years of development. You know, it's been really having the right team as well. So that's the real focus, is our bricks and mortar.
Yeah, fantastic. And one of the amazing elements is it's really organic. You know, it's a real sort of passion area as well. That comes through across sort of social media, particularly. You know, you're quite active on social, particularly through the Instagram channel. But there's also user-generated content, and the engagement that you generate through the visual aspects of the product is really, really strong. Do you think this has been important for the brand's development so far?
Absolutely. Like I said before, without social media, we kind of wouldn't have a business, and and it's taken, you know, in terms of the content. We've kind of started as a startup business, obviously creating our own content, very raw on iPhones, and then we had sort of 2-3 years of very polished content. Very produced and directed content, and kind of over the last sort of 6 months, we've decided to turn that around a little bit. We've been forced in some ways, because we've had to really have a look at our marketing budget and our spend and our costs and everything else. But it gave me time to think about, you know, our customer. And I've really tried to kind of look at the type of content that we produce that's developed around, you know, our customers and the demographic, and they engage massively with real content. You know, compared to the real polished stuff. You know, I'm not polished. I mean, you know, the beard's like all over and stuff like that. And a lot of it, we're just down to earth people, and that's our customers, and that's what they love. But that kind of content, and that's why we get the staff involved. You know, when customers ring up, they'll ask for Marie, they'll ask for Jackie. You know, a lot of our customers know who the likes of Rob and Lou and Gail and Callum and Chloe in Chesterfield. They know people before they even come into the store. Brilliant. And I love that. I kind of that's really developed, and I was a bit nervous about that to start with, but I've just rolled with it, because I love to engage with brands. And that's just worked really well for us.
Fantastic. And it's so refreshing to hear, you know, the value that you place on that sort of one-to-one interaction and customer service, particularly in, you know, 2021, growth in automation, digital. You know, it seems like society in many ways is moving away from valuing that sort of personal communication, and to hear that and the value that you place in it, and the way that obviously you've trained and developed the staff in that way as well.
You know, it's so important. I mean, you still get not now and again I dip into some of the messages, but I try not to, because you know, ultimately my team manage that side much better than I do. But certainly on the comments, if you look at most of the comments, you know, on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter feeds, it tends to be me replying, and I like that. You know, people kind of, you know, kind of ask for me and stuff like that, and I love that. You know, I've tried from day one to reply to everybody, and I think that's so important. And you're right about automation, because I've certainly looked at it. You know, I've looked at how we kind of streamline everything, and also look at how we can ultimately help our customer. But if it's not right for our customers, I just won't entertain it. It kind of, I don't think you can really come away from that one-to-one dialogue.
Great. And moving through to the present day, then, you know, the brand has developed a lot since its launch, particularly in the product range. For example, you know, you started with an accessories focus, and you know, more recently expanded into casual wear. So, what would you say, sort of post COVID and getting back to normal? What would be the main focus of the brand? What the plans?
To be honest, it's really developed. It hasn't developed as quick as I would like, but ultimately there's a level of investment which is cash. We've expanded. I'm sat in the East Bowden shop now. We started off with 800 square feet next door in the original shop. We've now got something like 3,000 square feet because we've knocked through into 2 buildings and we've come upstairs. So ultimately, you know, we've had to invest heavily in what's around us. But I kind of knew a long time ago that we really needed to expand our product range. Twofold. It was really understanding what our customer wanted from us. We obviously started very heavy on the formal wear side, so suits, shirts, shoes. But really there was an appetite for the casual side. So really looking at, you know, filling our customers' suitcase. So for any occasion, but we didn't have the space for it. And we tried to shoehorn, and it was all about the experience again. So I didn't really want to bring the casual wear in at the time. So we launched casual wear properly in June, July 2019, and it's just developed from there. That was a learning curve, because I'm not saying that I've certainly mastered formal wear, but casual wear was a bit different. It was like, what does the Master Debonair casual wear range look like? And now we kind of so the focus is on the full product range, where before it was really heavy on formal. But it's also kind of, you know, if you think back to our days when we worked together, you know, I always like to wear a blazer waistcoat with a pair of jeans and a pair of, you know, so it's kind of that crossover as well. It's really that, you know, not just catering for occasions, it's everyday wear as well. So the focus is absolutely is right across the product range now.
Great. And I understand, you know, that accessibility, because you seem to do a lot of trade, or certainly naturally the product is, or the formal product is relevant for like weddings and so forth. But that accessories also opens you up more day to day. I suppose it's an obvious point.
It does, yeah. It kind of, and the thing is, I suppose without that, I mentioned before twofold. The other side of it was risk. I always thought, you know, if we were too heavy on one product area, it's a hell of a risk for the business going forward, because if the trends change, but that ultimately that's my job as a buyer to understand, you know, trends changing. I was always told when we first set up that, you know, you'll not sell tweed suits during the summer. I kind of, I want tweed suits all year round. So like, and we continue to do that. But the flip side of it is if the market went, you know, overnight, which ultimately has for the wrong reasons with COVID, casual wear has ultimately kept this business in business for the last 12 months. Without casual wear, we just wouldn't have a business anymore. So
it's a great example of pivoting as well that we talked about.
I mean, there's a couple of things that we've gone into as well. During every lockdown, what we're on our third now, we've come out of it and launched something new. So when we came out of the first lockdown, we launched the one-to-one personal styling sessions. So people come in to the showrooms and we help them style looks that they're really looking for. We launched custom tailored suits. And then when we came out of the second lockdown in early December, We launched like all the beard care products and the candles. We've got a collaboration with Fire & Co, which are a furniture company over in South Shields. So we converted our sale room, clearance room. So that's a lifestyle room. So you can buy Time Out coffee in there as well, which, by the way, is the best coffee you can get. And you can come in there, and that goes back to the whole philosophy of customers coming in our shop and kind of hanging out, because there's a tweed couch in there now, and there's a coffee machine. You know, so it kind of, so everything that we've done, we've kind of we've come out and we've pivoted, and we'll move. If some of my plans come off in the next couple of months, I'm desperate to get the barbers, which I've talked about in here as well. So, so again, that full experience.
Brilliant. And just on that note, non-alcoholic beers as well. So I've seen you post quite a bit about, you know, nay beers. Is there a plan to potentially diversify in that area as well?
Yeah, it was all going swimmingly about 4 weeks ago, and until kind of I found out how much Brexit had impacted on getting product in the country. But yeah, absolutely. There's a new business ready to go there, the Sober Judges.
Brilliant.
And I can't wait to get that live. I've got everything lined up. I need to get the site built and finished off. I've got supply chain all set up, and the plan is to really utilize the existing team that I've got here.
Okay.
So really looking at sort of warehousing and distribution, customer service, and marketing, because the guys, it's not just about clothes. So the plan is to really get that up and running. I've turned into a real. This is what happens. It just you kind of dive right in, and we're quitting alcohol 17 months ago now. It kind of all of a sudden I've just turned into this nerd of non-alcoholic drinks. So, but there's definitely there's a market out there, and it's amazing how many people in business have contacted as well and said, listen, they're not looking to quit alcohol, but really like get that balance. And so it's given us even more of a spring in my step, as well as the espresso not drinking anymore.
No, that's great, and it certainly seems like a growth area. Without having the data in front of me, I mean,
it's huge.
A lot more people talking about it, engaging in it, and you only have to look at the amount of products. I mean, it's just exploded almost, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a good gauge when you see the bigger guys getting involved with it, and the likes of Brewdog. You know, and there's some great. It's not like 30 years ago when I was first starting to drink, and then looking to drive and have a Caliber beer or something like that, which was just this awful, like, gutter beer. There's just some phenomenal products out there. Yeah. Because I wouldn't just drink it for the sake of it. And I could go on. That's another podcast, that
one. Brilliant. Just to come on to exercise, I like to ask guests about like their thoughts on exercise, and particularly around mental health. I've always found exercise really positive for me. I've included it in some team initiatives that we've run across our agency, and particularly during recent months, with the challenges that exist out there with the environment that we find ourselves in. And we're running an initiative at the moment, and it's really, really helping with people's mental health. They're commenting saying, look, the fact that I've got the focus of getting out and about, just even for a walk or a run, it's really, really helping me sort of get through this challenging period. I've seen on social media again, and I know through knowing each other really for quite a while now, that you enjoy exercise, you exercise regularly, whether it's sort of PT sessions or getting out on your bike. Have you always been active? And
I have. I mean, ever since as far back as I can remember, probably when I was a toddler. I'd kind of played football throughout school until I left when I was 16, and then had a spell of not doing too much, to be honest. And then sort of mid-20s back into it again. I mean, obviously we played football together as well, but I kind of hung up my boots. That's kind of 9 years ago now. But I've always cycled, ran. I've done 10 Great North runs, a couple of coast to coast, and more than ever now. It's so I talk about this a lot. I think without exercise, my mental health probably would have suffered even more. You know, I've had spells. I'm kind of very vocal about kind of where I've been personally over the last couple of years, and really struggled. You know, I was nearly 2 stone heavier a couple of years back, just really bloated and shot to bits. And that ultimately led to us stopping drinking. But that was my decision, and the right decision for me. But in terms of exercise, I just it's such a great way. I've always felt as though if I feel great coming into work. And I always get up at around 6 o'clock every morning. My body clock just goes and I'm away. But if I feel lethargic and if I feel a little bit overweight, and if I don't feel great, and exercise and I've had spells where I've gone from one extreme to the other, where a couple of years ago, you know, probably dropped too much weight, put a lot of pressure on myself, exercising 6 days a week. Where now I've just got an amazing balance of PT. I love. Do you know, I go to a fantastic gym, fantastic trainer. My bike, I invested in a gravel bike last year, and I'm doing the Cyclone 108-mile challenge, which I should have really gone for the half the distance. I'm going to do the coast to coast again, and it's but just going back to what you said before about even walking. You don't need all the equipment. You don't need the investment. I find that it's an excuse. Just get us started by just walking again. And it was the best thing ever. Stick a podcast on or listen to the birds, take in what's around you. And it just, you'll instantly see the benefits of just getting out there and breathing and walking. Yeah,
definitely. And I align with that. You know, it's one of the beliefs that I have, and I think it's something that personally I'll take out of this period as well. You know, trying to take positives out of what's been a challenging period, and you know, I'd certainly try and create the time and encourage actually our staff to create the time to you know, go for more walks during the day, and you know, just get a bit of fresh air, because it sounds like the simplest of things, but it really, really helps. You know,
it does, and that's what I kind of. There was somebody, I'm just trying to think who it was, and she was telling us that she worked for a really big organisation, and the company used to send them out, you know, to go out and hug a tree, you know. But it's like we don't have to all hug trees, but even just getting out and having 10 minutes to walk around the block or something, because you know what it's like. We don't have our lunches, we work silly hours and stuff like that, and just make the time. And that's what I'm going to try and do more with my staff as well, to encourage them, you know, more flexibility and just to get out a little bit more.
Great. So looking forward to the future then, I know it's tough at the moment with all the uncertainties that are out there and so forth, but what would you like to, which direction would you like Master Debonair to go in, sort of beyond this year? Are there any further shop locations you got planned? I noticed.
I mean, the big thing for us really is to just get back up and running, and it's been really positive. We've remained active on social media for the last 12 months, where I think there's a lot of businesses around us haven't. Where I felt it was so important to keep going. You know, even if it's more photos of the dogs, you know, it's important that you're still engaging with your customers. The plan is definitely, we have got an opportunity, and I'm speaking to the guys at the council at the minute, in Sunderland, which is my home city. And I've felt for years, I haven't spent too many years of my life in Sunderland. I've probably spent more time in living in Newcastle, and I just saw the benefits of what happened with Newcastle and Gateshead, and I'd really like to be part of the sort of that regeneration of my hometown and city. So I'm hoping in the next week or so we should find out if that is really a possibility, and that we can move in, because we're kind of ready to go. You know, in terms of fit outs, we've kind of done this before, and then definitely more stores. We kind of, you know, our highest engaging posts over the years on Facebook. I can post a map of the country and just ask our customers where they'd like to see us, and it's in every major town.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I'd love to get back on that track again. I can see Master Debonair up and down the country. I'd like ideally to have a shop within an hour and a half's drive of every location. That's the plan.
Great plan to have. And in terms of the product range in the future, I read some content somewhere about you where I think it was Eve actually had suggested you may be looking at women's wear. I don't know if that's on the radar now. But
we did. I mean, we've toyed with so many things. It's like anything. When you kind of you're that way inclined the way we are. I'm always looking at opportunities. But I've really not narrowed it down. I certainly haven't. I really want to nail menswear. I really want to put all my focus into that, and that's why we've developed the product range and the lifestyle side of the business. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I see Master Debonair having a venue of some kind. I really do. There's more to Master Debonair than just clothes, and I'd really like to focus on that. So really focus on the menswear side of it, and really think about where the brand can go and how it can lend itself to other things. So that's kind of, I'd love to have a venue of some kind, whether that's a wedding venue or I don't know yet. It could be hospitality, but probably not so much the women's wear now. I think it's really nailing. I just want to be excellent at anything we do, and I've had plenty of opportunities to launch other products and service, and I haven't until I'm confident that we can excel in it. So that's where we are so far.
Cool, great. Well, I think that brings us to a close, Si. But thanks so much for your time. It's been brilliant.
Welcome. Good to see you.
A lot of ground there. Great to see you too. And all the best. Like, fingers crossed that the restrictions obviously get released and power on and continue the growth. And get on with growing Master Debonair into future success story.
Appreciate
Brilliant.
it.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Take care.
Good to speak to you. You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.